Welcome. Today I bring you the preview of the next chapter of The Ambassador's Daughter. Akin is in Spain waiting for Isabel and listening to the messages left by Gouven and Moog. Isabel arrives and gives the phone to Akin. He asks her if she saw the owner of the cell phone. Isabel answers that there was a woman with a girl there, but she doesn't know if they left the phone. Akin thanks her and Isabel leaves, so Akin checks the phone and sees the message that Nair sent him before leaving. So he comments that what he likes most about Nair is that she never gives up. Nair goes to see Moog, and while she is in the hospital waiting room she receives a call from Isabel, where she tells him that she already met Akin and that she already gave him the phone. She also comments that she was right about Akin because despite looking like an elegant man, he has eyes that reflect something very bad. Nair comments that she is very worried because he is about to do something very difficult. Isabel encourages her and they end the call. Moog in the office keeps calling Akin, but he still doesn't answer her. Nair enters, so Moog is surprised and welcomes her with a hug, asking her if she wasn't in Spain. Nair answers that she never went, so Moog asks how was that. But Nair reminds him of the conversation they couldn't finish the day Geddes and Sanjar got out of jail. So he asks him to finish that conversation and then he will understand everything. Moog remembers the conversation where Nair revealed to him about the abuse he suffered but could not tell him who did it to him. Moog says he has not been able to forget that day and asks him to take a seat. Nair swears to him that he will tell him the truth. Moog tells him that he understands that he is afraid that they will not believe him as it is normal in victims of abuse. Nair says that no one believes her, so Moog tells her that she does believe her and will always believe her. Nair tells her that when her father threw away the ring that Sanjar bought her she went crying to her room. Moog asks her if the culprit was at the party. Nair replies that yes, and that she was so young and so naive that she didn't see the danger signs, but that person was always very good at hiding his evil. Moog asks her if then it was someone she knew. Nair nods and says that she never expected something like that from that person, since it was someone she lived with for many years. Moog, realizing this, becomes distressed and asks her not to continue, but Nair tells her that he was always by her side and that she only realized his intentions when he locked her up, so she screamed. But no one heard her because of the noise of her birthday party. She also says that afterwards she even blamed herself for what happened because maybe nothing would have happened if she had not asked for a birthday party, and so her father would have heard her screams or Akin would not have done that to her. Moog shuts her up and accuses her of lying. So Nair, shocked, asks her if she doesn't believe her. But Moog affirms that she doesn't believe her and leaves crying. Then she comes back to Nair and tells her that she won't believe her until she shows her evidence. So Nair replies that she will then find evidence for her. Moog asks her how and if there is evidence of what happened. Nair says that she will try to find something about the incident, but she will show her how Akin is obsessed with her, as he is in Spain right now looking for her. She tells him that she sent him there to stay away and stop using her. Moog says Akin is not in Spain. So Nair tells him that the reason Akin stopped answering her is because he doesn't need her anymore. But Moog says that is not so. Nair tells him to call her old number, and when Akin answers she must ask him where he is. She also warns him with revealing to Geddes her relationship with Akin if she reveals to Akin that she didn't go to Spain. Nair apologizes for telling her everything, but that Akin is not the amazing person she thinks, but that he is evil, and she wants him to realize that. She promises him that when he accepts it she will be by his side, since when it happened to her everyone turned their back on her. Nair leaves and Sanjar sees her. Sanjar arrives with Moog. She hugs him crying, so Sanjar tries to calm her down. Nair calls Gouven, but Geddes has his cell phone in the car. Nair writes a message to her father asking him to call her. Moog calms down, so Sanjar asks her why she was crying. Moog just tells her that she had a patient that moved her a lot, then asks her why she went there. Sanjar tells her that he wanted to accompany her to buy the car she asked Geddes for. Gouven arrives at Geddes' house looking for him, but Rafika receives him angrily. Gouven asks her to call Geddes as he needs his cell phone, but Geddes does not answer the calls. Nair arrives at the beach and there she finds Geddes. He, upset, says he will have to look for another place no one knows. She asks him how he is. Geddes asks if she has nothing else to do. She replies that her daughter is in good hands and that she was worried about her friend. Geddes asks her why she hit Sanjar. So Nair remembers when Sanjar asked her if she was Akin's girlfriend and asks Geddes if she saw that. He answers yes and asks if it was because of what she said about Moog. But Nair says no and tries to talk about Moog, but Geddes stops her and asks her not to say that she believed Sanjar about Moog being a kin spy because that's not possible. Moog and Sanjar go to buy the car. Moog tells Sanjar that it's already too late, but Sanjar insists. Nair asks Geddes if he fought with Sanjar in the olive trees and why Sanjar suspects Moog. Geddes answers that it is because Moog wants to buy a car. Meanwhile, Moog tells Sanjar that she can't decide at that moment and that she will come back later with Geddes. Sanjar tells her that Geddes doesn't understand about cars and recommends one, but Moog refuses to buy it, saying that she doesn't like the color and asks Sanjar if he wants to help her because he saw her crying. But Sanjar tells her that he knows well that she doesn't want the car. She gets nervous and agrees to buy one. Geddes complains to Nair for the goodbye letter she left. Nair apologizes and tells her that she had to do that to keep Akin away. Geddes is upset because she didn't tell him about her plan. She tells him that even though the letter was fake, she left her notebook. But Geddes tells her that she didn't read it. Nair is surprised. Geddes tells her that she doesn't want it and gives it back. At that moment she receives a call, so she answers. Guven complains her for disappearing all day and asks her for the phone. Geddes tells her that he will send it to her the next day, but Guven demands it as soon as possible. Nair asks Geddes why she has her father's phone. Geddes tells her that while she was being searched he kept Guven's cell phone. So Nair asks her to give it to him, swearing that she will give it to Guven. Geddes gives it to him and asks him if there is anything important there. Nair says no and says goodbye to him. Geddes asks her not to hide anything from him, but Nair doesn't answer and leaves. Nair checks Guven's phone and finds the recordings from the day of the abuse. Sanjar takes Moog home, but while showing her the car, Moog gets a call from Nair, so Sanjar asks her to answer. Moog nervously tries to hang up, but Sanjar answers. Nair tells Moog that she found the evidence she asked for about Akin and asks her to meet to show her. Moog tries to hang up, but Sanjar stops her. Nair asks why she doesn't answer and tells her that sooner or later she will have to accept who Akin really is. When hanging up, Sanjar asks Moog for explanations, but at that moment Geddes arrives and asks them what they are doing. Sanjar tells him that he brought Moog in the car he bought. Moog enters the house, so Geddes angrily asks Sanjar if he forced Moog to buy the car so he wouldn't give the money to Akin, and leaves in anger. Nair arrives at the house and lies down next to her daughter. Melik asks her if she found a house. She answers that not yet. Melik says sad that Sanjar didn't go to see her, so Nair explains that he was busy but he will go to see her later. Melik asks if Sanjar can leave her for having another house, but Nair answers that he will never leave her. And so we end this preview. Until next time.